your opinion.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Dear members of the Committee of the Regions, allow me to begin my address with a short prelude on the importance of our work today. We have walked a long path together. We have explored every detail, looked at every comma, just every full stop. We've taken every opinion into consideration, talked to our local communities, and consulted experts in their fields. But as exhausting as our work may have been, we have never strayed from the understanding that we represent Europe's resolve to grow together, to protect each other, and to care for our communities. And because of that, I wish to congratulate each and every one of you for your commitment to Europe, to its diversity, to its strength, and to its future. We are gathered today in this chamber to vote on the final text of the Committee's opinion on the European Union's strategic approach to the Black Sea region. We will do so here in Brussels, where the aspirations of Europe's politicians meet the hopes and dreams of nearly 500 million European citizens. That carries a lot of weight, and it should. It should weigh heavy on our shoulders to make the right decisions for our fellow citizens. Who meet them along the way to work. It is us who greet them in the supermarkets. And it is us who are entrusted with their immediate well-being. It is us who greet them in the supermarkets. And it is us who are entrusted with their immediate well-being. For that reason, I urge you once again to not only adopt the committee's opinion, but to commit to the actual implementation of the strategic approach. Last time I was here, I ended my address with this exact request, but also with a description of the way I'd like to define the strategic approach and our opinion on it when I get back home to Varna, the biggest city on the European Union's Black Sea coast. Ambitious, aspiring, and actionable. This is how I describe the document to one expert on regional affairs in Varna, and to another one. I was met with enthusiasm and with hope that text will transform into action and intent will turn into results. But there was also hesitation, skepticism that we can bring these great initiatives to bear, doubt that the European Union can meet the expectations of the people living along the Black Sea coast, who want real investment in the region, real infrastructure, real security, and real economic prosperity. So let me be frank. That is the only way we can counter Putin's false assertion of a divided Europe, by doing real, tangible things. Dear colleagues, if our work here is to have impact, we have to add substance to the form. To that end, I will now highlight 3 concrete priorities for the strategic approach that, in my view, will maximize the outcomes for the Black Sea region. First and foremost, infrastructure and economic development. The strategic approach defines the Black Sea region as a critical corridor linking Northeast and Southeast Europe, but also Europe with the Caucasian and Central Asia, both in terms of commerce and in terms of security. However, as my Romanian colleagues here will surely agree, the state of transport infrastructure along the EU's Black Sea coast is less than ideal. Bulgaria and Romania are in dire need of investments in infrastructure. And since infrastructure improves connectivity and boosts the economy, this will also increase security. The equation is simple. Good public infrastructure equals fast, secure corridors for commerce, transport, and defense. Next is import infrastructure. As we've seen from the hostilities in Ukraine and the Middle East, ports are among the first casualties of war. Without getting into the military domain, I will say that civilian authorities can and should do more to ensure their continuous operation. And by more, I mean security and government audits with strict scrutiny over ownership and management to counter potential sabotage on private misuse of critical infrastructure. Personally, I also stand for much closer cooperation between the 2 EU Black Sea countries, Bulgaria and Romania. The great port cities of Varna and Constanța are mere 120 kilometers apart. One port's infrastructure can specialize in one import industry and the other in another. So instead of creating redundancies among ourselves, we could be covering deficiencies for each other. The notion of mutual help between Bulgaria and Romania is also emphasized by a certain communication from the European Commission to the European Parliament dated February 18th of this year. In that document, Bulgaria and Romania are deemed to have experienced slower growth and higher inflation because of the war in Ukraine, a fact that only accentuates the need for closer collaboration in the Black Sea region. One such sphere of mutual interest is environmental protection, which is also my second highlight. Loss of biodiversity, coastal erosion and flooding incidents, importantly, scientific cooperation with all member states of the European Union. Coastal ecosystems such as dunes and wetlands must show an investment potential of the region. We must adapt to these challenges by promoting ecosystem restoration, monitoring and, most importantly, scientific cooperation with all member states of the European Union. Coastal ecosystems such as dunes and wetlands must be protected at all costs if we are to safeguard our distinct way of life in harmony with the sea. Protecting these natural assets also means upholding
Mr.
the public
Kotsev, could you
interest.
please come to an end?
Yeah. In Bulgaria, civil society's biggest concern is the shadowy commercial capture and destructive overdevelopment of the coast. In Bulgaria, it is the homegrown oligarchs who are responsible for the disproportionate large private interests. This brings to my third highlight, the rule of law in the Black Sea region, which is absolutely critical to the entire Black Sea policy agenda. Bulgaria finds itself in an ongoing political crisis that has been undermining the credibility of institutions for years. Transparency and accountability are becoming abstract terms. The security apparatus has been infiltrated by the oligarchy. The judiciary is in a state of coma. Cases such as my unlawful arrest, which has been deemed such in courts just recently, are only the tip of the iceberg. People are afraid that their own state is against them, that their own state will put them in jail to steal their business, and their own state will use any means necessary to suppress dissent.
Thank you, Mr. Kotsev. Thank you so much.